The first question is, a product manager at Facebook comes to you and tells you that friend requests are down by 10% on the Facebook app. All right. What would you do to investigate this?
If I get the question right, basically a product manager comes to me and say that friend request is down by 10%, and I have to basically investigate what is the reason behind it, right?
Yep.
Give me a minute to structure my thoughts. I have few follow-up questions. So firstly, can you help me to understand what you mean by friend request? Is it friend request sent, friend request accepted? Which part of metric is down?
Yeah, so let's say that it is the overall number of friend requests made. So friend requests then accepted.
So friend request accepted is down, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I just want to double clarify on how is this metric calculated? Is it like friend request accepted divided by friend request sent? Is this how we will calculate the metric?
Yes. So it should be the number of friend requests that are accepted total. So specifically, we're not looking at any sort of ratios. There's friend requests, right? And then there's friend requests that are accepted. So
Okay,
let's say
so
friend requests that are accepted are down by 10%.
Okay, so we are looking into absolute metric. So let's say, okay, got it. Friend request. The way I'm planning to approach this problem, it would be broken down into 4 steps. So firstly, I'll be talking at a very high level reasons, like not doing much analysis, but checking for like any obvious miss out if we have. And if we don't find anything there, then I'll proceed to breaking down this metric into further components. On top of that, I would do some segmentation analysis and then come up with few hypotheses behind this problem. So, and I believe we are just talking about Facebook, the blue app. We are not talking about other family of apps.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. So first I wanted to check with you, is this a sudden dip or is it a gradual dip in the metric?
Let's say it's a gradual dip. Yeah.
Okay.
But what would you do in either case?
So if it was a sudden dip, I would have seen into data dashboard, let's say pipelines might have not run, some correction might have happened, or let's say there was a bug which caused in the system which have impacted system for a day or two. So I would have looked into those factors, but if it's a gradual dip, then I have to do further thorough analysis.
Okay, cool.
And have we changed? Sorry, any questions there?
Oh, I was saying, like, what about if it was a gradual dip?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So now you're saying it's a gradual dip. So have we changed anything in the way we were calculating the metric? Like earlier, let's say definition is just friend request accepted, or have we added any more criteria into this? Any
Nope.
changes in the, no changes? Okay. Have we made any product feature level changes which would have impacted?
Potentially, I would say that Facebook as an app, let's say that it's changed gradually over the past, 3 to 5 years. We've promoted some things, we promoted less things, but maybe nothing comes to mind as being obvious.
So nothing obvious which could have caused this gradual dip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And can you tell me, like, is it a dip over a month, over a week? When was the exact frame of this dip?
Let's say it's over like a year.
Oh, makes sense. Then if it's a year, then there could not be any data logging issue or instrumentation issues, which we have done. Have For a year, I think seasonality is still not an option, but just wanted to check, is there any seasonality in the past? Have we seen any similar pattern?
No, I'm going to say no.
Okay. One more thing I would like to check. Generally, we sometimes run a lot of growth marketing campaign, which can increase or decrease the number of users or other metrics. So, is there any growth marketing campaign which we have run in the past? And actually, this is not a dip. Now this metric is coming to normalcy. So it's like you run a marketing campaign, you see some increase in your metric, and when the effect of marketing campaign is gone, it has come down to its normalcy. Is it something like that?
Not sure. Let's say, could you present a scenario where this would happen and affect the friend requests?
So let's say 1.5 year back, we started some campaign. So number of friend requests accepted increased, but now it is back to 1.5 year back scenario.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So let's say it's not because of that.
Okay. Now, nothing of that. Then, is there any other key metric in the ecosystem which we have seen changing at at a Facebook level? Just wanted to make sure it's not just one of the metric which is impacted. If it is like impacting everything, then it's a bigger problem to solve.
What's an example of that?
So let's say if your DAO is going down, engagement time is going down, or time spent is going down, or let's say any other top level KPI which is going down.
Gotcha. So how would daily active users, for example, going down affect it? The request.
So the thing is like if fewer people are getting active on Facebook, then it means very few people, fewer friend requests would be sent, and eventually that number would be impacted.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, let's say that's not happening then.
Okay. I don't think any other world level event would have impacted, because again, it's a gradual shift across a year. So I think at a high level, I could not think of any other major issues. So I would go to the next step of my analysis, which is breaking down this metric. So what I'll do now, the total metric we have is total friend request accepted. So I would break it down into number of users at a daily level, number basically DAO into average friend request accepted per user.
Okay.
So like right now, it's a very numeric or a high level metric which is difficult to investigate. So I'm breaking down it into two components. And so can you help me help me to understand, is it number of users which is going down or average friend request accepted? I believe you mentioned DAO is not going down. So basically, average friend requested per user might be going down.
So if the
friend request accepted.
Average number of friend requests accepted per user, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, so why do we care about this metric?
So like I mentioned, total friend request is equal, accepted is equal to number of active users into friend request per user. If I multiply these components, this will give me request. Now breaking down this metric will help me to understand if there is if basically my active users base is going down, that is the problem, or my user bases remain intact and now just people are accepting fewer requests. That is the problem. So it will help me to further narrow down my investigation.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's say that the number of active users is not going down, right? And we already mentioned that before, right?
Yep.
So then I guess it would have to be the number of average friend requests per user is then decreasing.
Okay. So average friend request accepted per user is going down. So I would now break it down further, and what I'll do, I'll see this. I'll divide this metric further into two parts: average friend request, friend request accepted by matured user, like people who have been into the system for let's say more than 90 days, versus people who have been into the system for less than 90 days. So which part of metric is going down, I would further investigate. The reason is my initial hypothesis is people who are new to the system, they are more prone to sending and accepting more friend requests, versus a mature user, they already have majority of their friend identity. So can you help me to understand which part of the user base is going down in terms of average friend request accepted?
What do you think?
My initial hunch is maybe the new user base, like the users who are new to the system. Because my point is, if someone is already in the ecosystem for quite time, generally people anyways, like if I think about myself, who has been a Facebook user for like years, I hardly send or accept friend requests these days, maybe like one a month. So I should not be impacting that much.
Okay. But if the number of users that are over 90 days is, let's say, 99% of the total user base, right? Wouldn't just like a slight decrease there be a huge cause versus just
Yep,
like the new users of the 90 days?
that's also true. So that's why even I was divided. So I would like to have this data cut before I start.
Gotcha.
So, so what do you think? Which direction should I proceed?
I would say, what does your intuition say? So if it is the new users, then what would you do?
I think if it's new user or old user, I would have proceeded with the segmentation analysis. So in the segmentation analysis, I would start with something like a geographical cut. I don't think we can have a demography analysis for app like Facebook where we don't know people are putting their correct gender or age. So I would have started with something like in which geography this decline are we seeing, and then I would have seen further at web versus iOS versus Android. So see if there's a particular segment where I'm seeing the dip. So any inputs on these segmentation?
Nope, that makes sense. Which one would you investigate first, do you think?
I would have started with geography. I think we could start with any node, geography or device level. I would have started with geography, and if there is particular geography where we are seeing more dip, then I would have gone to the second layer of segmentation analysis, which is Android versus iOS versus web.
Gotcha. And
So
why geography first?
so geography, I generally felt like user of a particular kind of geography have a similar behavior. So, for example, if we think about North America or Western Europe, right now at this point of time, I can say that yeah, I have heard a lot of anecdotal inputs that yeah, now Facebook is for old people, it is not even picking up, and Instagram is the place to go. Whereas in the Asian market, where people are still going like elderly people to mid people are still going to Facebook. So that's why I think it might be a stronger signal.
Gotcha. Then wouldn't you have to segment for age at that point if your hypothesis is kind of based on
So,
yeah, age of the
i-
accounts?
so I think right now, with my understanding, like I think Facebook just say that you have to be more than 13 years old.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure whether the information which people provide about their gender and age, how accurate it would be. We can make some approximations by looking into friends and looking into picture that what gender could it be, but what age could be. But if I just uh, look at the first instance, I would be doubtful about the quality of this data on Facebook.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's move on to the second segment.
So, is there any specific geography or device level where we are seeing the dip, or is it across
Um,
everything?
Potentially, yeah. So let's say that we don't see anything. What else would we do?
Okay. So right now, let's just summarize things we have done so far. So right now, we saw that friend request accepted is going down for new users, and we did not find any major pattern till the time we performed segmentation analysis at a demography level as well as device level. Okay.
Mhm.
So now I would try to go a little bit into the user journey analysis. I would try to see how does a friend request sent happen versus accept happen. So how does that funnel look? Now there are two sources of friend request sending, if I understand correctly. First is you make an organic search
Mhm.
and you find a person and then you send a friend request, and then there is other one is people you may know, you might send friend request from there. So that would be my starting point. Firstly, I would see in these two funnels how many like number of friend requests sent, how is it looking, is it going down or is it going up? uh, Even before that, I would actually start with something like build a high level funnel. So thing is friend request sent attempted, then friend request actually processed because there are Sigma rules in the backend which execute those actions, and then friend request eventually accepted. So there are three steps of the funnel. I'll see if there is a drop happening at any point. So is it the problem more on friend request sent, or is friend request getting sent or not, and when people are accepting, is it getting accepted or not? So can you tell me like which part of the funnel has seen the major drop off?
Okay. What do you think?
It could go in any direction. Like people might be sending fewer friend requests, or there might be some slight technical bug, which is, let's say, not letting friend request sent, and then if not, people are actually attempting less. So it could actually, any three direction would be possible, and my analysis would depend on this input.
Okay, but that's not an answer, right? So I guess depending on what you know about Facebook, what do you think is the most likely cause at this point, given the current situation of Facebook?
Okay. See, if we do not see any major decline in DAO, so then it means people are coming to the platform. So if they are sending friend request, and I know there are bunch of few privacy feature which now even restrict people from sending friend request to people you might not be knowing. Then friend requests which might be coming, they might be of higher quality. So I do not see any strong reason why somebody would not be accepting it. So I think there should be decline at the top of the funnel, which is intent to send friend request. That so maybe people are sending fewer friend requests. That's
Gotcha.
my, if I would have started analysis with this point.
Okay, so why would people be sending less friend requests, you think?
Yeah.
What would you
So
investigate then?
now, yeah, I would see if there is decline in friend requests coming from people you may know versus friend requests coming through organic search. So
Gotcha.
do we have any
Okay.
input in this?
Let's say it's both. How
Okay.
would we determine the cause? Yeah.
Okay. So if there's a decline in both, got it. And we are seeing a decline in new users. So that's an interesting point. So now there could be two hypotheses. Firstly, new users are not able to find right kind of friends, or like not able to find their network, or basically they are not just investing enough time, or they might have just created the account, but they might be moving to other Facebook family of app or other social media. So I don't think I can investigate other social media, but there's a high chance I can investigate if they are putting a lot of time on other Facebook family of social media apps. So this is one direction I can proceed. Do you think it is right direction to proceed?
Well, if they're investing more time in other Facebook
Let's say
family of
Instagram.
apps, wouldn't daily active users also go down at that point?
So what happened? You might have still created Facebook app, but let's say your time spent on the app is low.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So we'd be seeing a correlation in time spent on Facebook go down by 10% or more, correct?
For these user segment, yes.
Okay, gotcha. So let's say that time spent is normal, all the other metrics are normal, but we're seeing less people sending friend requests still at the same rate across all of the top of the funnels. What other methods could we do to see why those friend requests would be going down?
So I think we can establish now the problem is people are sending fewer friend requests. That is the root cause of the problem. Now we have to
Okay.
come up with hypothesis why they are sending fewer friend requests. And it is declined across both people you may know. Give me a minute to structure my thought.
Okay.
Okay. So just to summarize so far what we have concluded. So the problem is in the segment of new users. That is where we are seeing the low friend request. And we have further established that basically top of the funnel, which is friend request sent, is low. Then, and this is low both from organic search send friend request as well as PYMK. You may know. And now basically we have to understand why is it low. So I can see two reasons. First of all, the reason why this user base has created the profile, the primary purpose is not interacting with their friends. They might be playing some games or following certain pages and all. Second is they have just created their profile like across all the social media, but they are active on, let's say, more on Instagram and Messenger. So what I'll do for this user segment, I would try to do the time spent analysis, like on what activities are they doing, are they spending the time. So this will give me a signal whether the intent is to interact more with the friends or their community, or is it more about interacting in group, or let's say following certain pages. So that is what I'll do as the first part of analysis. Second, I'll also try to if available, I will try to find their mapping on other app like Instagram and Messenger and see if these are the primary source of communication which these people are using. So are we seeing more, let's say, follow back or follow send request or Messenger correction for these user base or not? So this will give me an initial hypothesis that the way they are using Facebook, that approach has changed and they are connecting with their friends on some other social media. So this could be one of my hypotheses. This is how I will proceed further.
Okay. So what metrics would prove to you that your hypothesis is true in this case?
So follower sent request on Instagram, and it's not like a fan page or a celeb page. It's more like a genuine user page. So number of, are those requests going up or are stable? That is one metric I'll see. Same I'll check in the Messenger, and then the third metric which I'll see is time spent on organic content interaction divided by the total time spent sent on the Facebook. If that metric is going down and other two metric is going up, then I can have a reasonable hypothesis that this could be the reason.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I don't have any further questions, but we could wrap it up. Any other kind of points that you want to make before we review it?
No, I think based on the thorough analysis of this root cause analysis problem, we try to check every possible segment per my knowledge, and we have concluded it's basically change in the behavior of newer users, which we are seeing in the Facebook, which is driving the friend request down.
Yeah. So I think on my review, so what did you think about this question first off, and then I'll kind of give you my thoughts of it as well.
So I think it's one of the classic Facebook questions, and with this question, you can take the candidate in any direction you want. I can think about like 5, 10 other variations right now. So it's a good question, and basically it also helps you to judge our understanding of Facebook app from interview perspective. So we are checking on things like how friend requesters think, this person have idea about PYMK, then basically how other ecosystem metric can impact one of the metric metric we can also check, and we can also think about cross app cannibalization. So it was a pretty good problem. I think it gives a good signal if a person can solve the business case properly or not.
Yeah, I agree. So I think a few things that I liked from the very beginning were how you did clarify the metric that it was friend requests accepted versus friend requests given. How you looked at like gradual or immediate decline. These are pretty standard. And then also kind of framing your structure of your answer within under like doing a segment analysis afterwards, and then kind of a conclusion. I think one thing that we did miss was around like the friend request. So I think it's pretty obvious initially. We probably should have looked at like number of friend requests sent versus friend requests accepted, right? And I think we kind of glanced over that or kind of missed that one. So that one was just something that we should probably jump into immediately.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was I think, at Facebook especially, I don't know if this happens in your interviews or like specifically, but I think with a lot of these case questions also, the interviewers don't have like a set, kind of root cause for a right answer, right? So they always just throw the question back at you. And that's kind of what I was doing there too, right? Because I didn't really know like what was going to be like the right answer in the scenario. I was just kind of looking for both of your sides. And so if you explain both sides well, then I think that's like a good signal to the interviewers. I don't know. What do you think? Is that usually what you have to do, is kind of come up with both arguments and kind of create like a solution for that?
So yeah, 2 points you mentioned. I think firstly, valid feedback. I was also thinking, should I start with friend request sent at the very start? I did mention this point later, but yeah, if I would have started, that could have been one clarification. But generally, the way we do root cause analysis, we try to keep it broad. But yeah, I could have definitely brought this point earlier. Second is root cause analysis. I have seen both the variants. Sometimes people know very specific, that, okay, this is the direction I want a candidate to go. And then in those specific scenarios, we don't check for like very niche knowledge that only an insider can have the information. Whereas other approach, like you mentioned, they keep it very open-ended. And here we are trying to see that what various spectrum can you cover. And coming to the point of question back, I have seen again mixed patterns here, but it's always good to check if somebody is coming with certain hypotheses. Why do you want to proceed in this? So I think you did a very great job as an interview in checking those.